In this session, I want to talk about Elon Musk and how I think that he is hurting the Republican Party. And I'll explain now in what ways he's hurting the Republican Party and Donald Trump. And I'm actually pretty concerned because if Elon Musk and his Doge team continue to conduct themselves in the manner that they are conducting themselves right now, the Republican Party might actually lose the midterm elections, which there is really no reason to lose the midterm elections looking at how bad the Democratic Party is right now. But this conduct by Elon Musk might actually give the Democrat Party a victory in the midterm elections. But without further ado, let's go into it. So where are we? I believe that there's no need for me to introduce to you what Doge is. Everyone knows what Doge is by now, and Elon Musk's role in that. The issue here that I'm concerned about, let's first start by saying we need to separate issues here. Firstly, the overwhelming majority of the American public supports the need of cutting costs in the federal government, of trimming flat, of reducing and eliminating fraud and waste and inefficiencies. And so that's probably 80% of, okay, let's just say 65 to 70% of Americans support this. However, another poll shows that the American public does not support the way that Elon Musk and his team has carried out this process. Why is it so? There are quite a few things that came to my mind that have started to make me very uncomfortable with this. For me, it's very clear. I support Donald John Trump. I support him without any equivocation. I don't support all of his policies. I support probably 90% of his. And if I was an American citizen, I would have voted for him. I support him. I think he's the best president the United States have had since Abraham Lincoln. I think he's better than JFK. I think he's better than Ronald Reagan. He's excellent. However, and I also support this Doge mandate of reducing costs, eliminating fraud, corruption, inefficiencies, waste, and all those things. Here, the problem here that we have is that part of this reducing of the cost is that you need to provide the evidence of the claims that you are making. And Elon Musk is not doing that and his team. They are making a lot of startling claims. But making startling and shocking claims is not the same thing as providing evidence. You need to provide evidence on the source documents. If you need to redact some of the information because it's sensitive, do that. But you need to provide evidence. And they have not done that. And there was this debate that I saw on CNN recently where Anderson Cooper and the other leftist talking heads were saying, where's the evidence? And then the Republican there said, no, the evidence is there, but the evidence that he's talking about is the claims of Doge, the things that they have put on the Doge website, which none of them are source material, none of them are proper citations. All of those things are just assertions and claims. So it's a different thing. It's a different thing altogether to make claims, to say, I found a trail of money for 20 million rand going, $20 million going to buy condoms in Mozambique. It's another thing altogether to provide the source document that shows those condoms worth $20 million actually going to Mozambique. That is what I'm saying. They need to close the gap between their claims and the evidence of their claims. And as long as they are not providing evidence for their claims, you don't need to provide evidence for all of the claims that you are making. You just need to provide enough a random sample You take all these fraudulent activities that you found, you just choose a random sample of those things and then use those as evidence. And then make that evidence also available upon physical review by people who have necessary security clearance to review them, like Congress, for instance. Congress, for instance, need to be able to review all of those documents that you are saying we found funding to Afghanistan, whatever, what's the terrorist organization there? Show evidence to Congress. We found funding to fund some LGBTQ bullshit in Uganda. Show evidence for that. Show evidence. Provide evidence. Source material. No more making claims. No more all of these outlandish and hyperbolic claims. Evidence first. Evidence, please. And as long as they are not producing evidence, source documents, source materials, contracts, evidence of wire transfer, no one is going to believe anything that they are saying. Already you are operating in a media landscape that is 95% liberal. So you need to be erring on the side of producing evidence. That's the one issue. And the second issue that I will go to is that if part of the cost cutting that has to happen has to do with retrenching people and laying off and people losing their jobs, which you've said that's what, and I understand that's what's happening. You need to be a lot more human, compassionate, and with regards to, and sensitive with regards to how you are dealing with people getting retrenched. These are people. These are human beings who have families, who have responsibilities, mortgages, bonds, rent, groceries, kids who are in school, kids who are in college, car note, all of these things that need to be paid for. I don't mean that you don't need to retrench workers. If after careful review, after applying your mind properly, the decision is that you need to lay off and retrench people, do it in a human process. Give people sufficient notice. And often sufficient notice to give people a 3-month notice for retrenchment, and then after that they get retrenched, getting all of their monies, retrenchment settlements that are due to them. And in a situation like this, I'll even encourage for longer retrenchment notice period, like 3 to 6 months period, so that people who are getting retrenched will have sufficient time to make alternative plans for their own lives. You can't just tell people now that you are losing your job now. It's heartless, it's inhumane, and it's just inappropriate. Please. And these are the things that will make you actually lose power. Because even if you said that these people were hired for no good rationale, but these people did not hire themselves. These people did not appoint themselves. And these people have got to a point of relying on this federal paycheck to plan their lives. And if it means 10% of the federal workforce needs to go, which is what they are suggesting is supposed to happen, that is close to 300,000 people, if not more. That's just on the executive side. I'm not talking about looking at the Pentagon, for instance. I'm just looking at executive, just all these other non-Pentagon related federal positions. It's close to 2.8 million federal employees, and 10% of that is close to 280,000 people getting, close to 300,000 people getting retrenched. If you're going to retrench 300,000 people, even if you're going to retrench 30,000 people, in fact, I would even go even further and say, even if you were going to retrench one person, you are supposed to do this thing in a very humane and compassionate way, because this person has planned their life around the salary that they're getting from the government. They need to be able to make alternative plans going forward, that okay, I have 3 to 6 months for me to look for another job, so that they can start applying for other jobs, they can start making alternative plans, they can start talking to the bank about make arrangements about how are they going to meet their obligations. You can't just recklessly be laying off people and retrenching people as if these are not human beings. This is one thing that's actually, you're going to lose votes, especially when it comes to independence. this one issue. That's issue number 2.